A poll of 2,342 adults in Indiana found that 61% prefer red Jell-O over orange Jell-O. And I know this is super crucial information that we're dealing with here. Now, Part A, we are going to do parts A through E on this question. Part A says, what is the population? Now, when they talk about population, the population is everybody that we could have pulled from. So we could have pulled from all adults in Indiana. So the key word to the word population is all, because I could have talked to everybody. Now, I didn't, right? We're going to go to sample size. Sample size talks about the actual number. The sample size here is 2,342 adults in Indiana. So the only real difference between population and sample is that the population is everybody, and the sample size is a specific number, right? So all versus a number. Now, let's go to Part C. What is the 95% margin of error? Well, to find the margin of error, we need 1 over the square root of the sample size. So, 1 divided by the square root of 2342. Now, your calculator might allow you to plug this in all at the same time. If not, the square root of 2342 is approximately 48.39. And so when you take 1 divided by that, you get 0.0206. Now, our estimate is given as a percent, and therefore, this is like 2.06%. All right, you can write it as a decimal or a percent. If it wants it to the nearest tenth, you might even go as far as saying 2.1%. Now, we use that to find our confidence interval. I'm going to go ahead and use the 2.1%. We know that 61% is our estimate. So I'm going to subtract 2.1% for my low end, and I'm going to add 2.1% for my high end. So when I subtract, I get 58.9%, and when I add, I get 63.1. So my 95% confidence interval is 58.9% to 63.1%. Now that leads us into Part E, where it says interpret the interval. Well, you're always going to start this interval with we are 95% confident, because that's the confident interval that we use, right? The 95% confidence interval. So we are 95% confident that between, and now we use our confidence interval, which is 58.9% and 63.1% of adults in Indiana. What do? They prefer red Jell-O over orange Jell-O. So I kind of did this in multiple colors on purpose, because you start with, we're 95% confident. Then you switch through to what is the confidence interval? Who are you talking about? And who you're talking about is the population. And then what are you talking about? In this case, they prefer red Jell-O over orange Jell-O. So you want to make sure that interpretation is almost like Mad Libs, in my opinion, right? 95% confident. What's your confidence interval? Who are you talking about, and what are they doing? And there are the 5 pieces to that question.